Here to weigh in, Vivek Ramaswamy, Ohio gubernatorial candidate, just wrapped up a town hall in Cincinnati. Vivek, did you hear from people in the city about how this was handled? A lot of people are saying this isn't representative of our city or bad-mouthing our city and so forth. But what was the reaction tonight?
Well, the reaction was a pretty authentic, open and raw conversations at times, Laura, but in a good way. We had people who were coming out to say that Holly's story wasn't the only story like it in Cincinnati. We had a woman whose husband was brutally murdered by somebody who had an ankle bracelet that somehow escaped notice and barged into her residence and killed her husband. Parents of kids who had actually one woman of two different kids who had died as the subject of violence in this city. And to me, the eye-opening thing about the town hall tonight is the reason why that assault, Holly's assault in that event on July 25th, struck such a chord is not that it was some random example, but it was a symptom of a deeper problem. And I do think it's an uncomfortable subject, urban crime. A lot of people have historically been uncomfortable talking in public about it. What we tried to do tonight, we had hundreds of people come out, and it was at times a charged discussion, but that's what we need, I think, and ultimately not only to bring people together, but to actually solve the problem of violent crime in our cities, which I'm going to make sure that we actually do in Ohio.
Well, tonight, the Cleveland Plain Dealer is actually attacking MAGA politicians, including, Bernie Moreno, for racializing this and basically turning the tables on them, saying, "How dare you? This was not uncommon. They called it a common street fight. Has become a masterclass in political exploitation and racial fear-mongering. So you and others are guilty of this, according to the woke media."
Yeah, well, look, they are pretending to be journalists, activists masquerading as journalists. What can I say? But the reality is, in certain eyes of certain people on the left, it's almost as though the bigger crime wasn't the assault, but the fact that somebody actually noticed it and wants to talk about it. Look, people even criticized me. In the days afterwards, I called Holly, saw if we could help in any way. My wife's a physician. Is there a way we're able to be helpful? I got criticized for that as well, Laura. So I don't care about the criticism. I care about what we actually do to fix the problem. Now, as it relates to the racial dimension of this and the sensitivities in places, including like Cincinnati and the history in the city, we co-hosted tonight's town hall with Christopher Smitherman, who was a former 7-year president of the Cincinnati chapter of the NAACP. And he agrees with me and, frankly, most of the people who are here that we need to stand for fighting violent crime because that's important, black or white, regardless. It's common sense.
But we have to call out these local politicians, Vivek, because this city councilwoman who said that the victims begged for the beatdown, not only not apologizing, but doubling down on her comments. Check this out.
I am a grown woman. That night when I wrote on the internet, I meant it. That's the way I felt, and I'm not going to back down.
Not going to back down. That's who the city has representing them.
Well, in a certain sense, I mean, it's actually horrific that you have city officials having the gall to say things like this on the one hand. On the other hand, Laura, at least let's get it out in the open. I'd rather this not fester beneath the surface. The fact of the matter is they're engaging in victim blaming, engaging in almost a kind of vengeance is the wrong attitude. So do we need that amongst our leaders? No. But in the short run, let the public at least see this is the kind of vengeful spirit that leads to failed leadership, that leads then to violence on our streets, because they're not even opposed to fighting it. Let's see it in the open, then we fix the problem.
All right, consequences. People want consequences for this type of illegality, and consequences are coming. Vivek, as always, thank you. And coming up...